Welcome to the Foil Life Podcast, where we talk about foiling and the lifestyles of those who enjoy these great sports. Hey, Tom, nice to see you again.
Good to see you too, Luke.
All right, so you just wrapped up Atlanta Foil Fest, first in its kind. How was that festival?
Yeah, it's been great. The festival happened for the first time. Jason Burton from Burton Outdoor Adventures out here in Atlanta, or Lake Lanier, pulled this event together for the first time. We've been, with him in conversation since January about this event. And as it's never happened before, it was hard to have really expectations. And I think in the end, the whole event turned out to be a lot bigger and better than, it was targeted in the beginning. And I think, we had basically the whole foiling industry coming here, showcasing demo equipment, not all the brands, but the majority of the brands being here. A lot of the top athletes coming to Atlanta. The whole event venue is about an hour and a half outside Atlanta at Lake Lanier, at the Olympic Park for rowing from, I guess it was Atlanta 1996 Olympic Games.
Oh, no way.
So we had the opportunity to use the whole venue, the stadium, if you could say, the rowing stadium and the rowing tower where still competitions take place, which is a pretty awesome setup actually for an event, because it really, it's made for events. So you have a parking lot, you got like a proper theater to watch the action. It's a bit outside Atlanta, as I said, an hour and a half, so it's like not that close to the city. But it's been a really fun event, 3 days of foiling action and a lot of competition. There was so much program going on. Yeah, you can see here on the venue. Yeah, you have on the right side the rowing tower, the judge tower for rowing competitions. And we had a lot of action on the competition side going on. So usually started really early in the mornings. We had e-foil from the SFT, e-foil World Cup, palm foil World Cup. We did the FS Royale, the Foil Surf Race League, was also involved with wake foil competition with 1v1. Which is a different kind of pump foil competition with a jet ski assistance, so not dog starting. You're starting behind the ski on a bit shorter track, which makes it a bit more accessible. Also very fun format. There has been also a Betafoil, a long distance pump foil show event. We did a long distance Betafoil Enduro event. Then we had Airchair. If people still know this, the Airchair, which has been actually in the forefront of foiling, I would say. I've been trying this Airchair one time in my life, and that's been probably 20 years ago, in around 2000. I don't know, 2005, 6, 7, I'm not sure exactly. And for those who don't know, an Airchair, it's basically a chair. You're strapped onto a chair with a belt, and that chair sits on a really long hydrofoil with a really long mast, and you get pulled behind a boat. And if you see footage of people doing that 20 years ago, doing front flips, back flips in 3-4 meters height, long before anybody in the foiling world thought about, here here it is. Long before anybody in the foiling world actually thought about pump foiling or any of these sports, there were already these guys, having fun on the Airchair. And actually the inventor of the Airchair, Mike Murphy, he has been at the Atlanta Foil Festival this weekend as well. Definitely a legend from the early foil days, and I think it's been really fun listening actually to him and talking to him, hearing his stories. And I think now when he thinks about 20 years later what is happening to foiling and what his pioneer role, I would say, in foiling has been already in the early 2000s, it's incredible. So we had these the Airchair show, Betafoils, which is this pump foil with double mast for endurance, long distance pumping, and a lot going on, and it's been a pretty busy weekend. Very successful also on the competition side. I think it was on the eFoil racing side, on the eFoil races, definitely one of the highest levels that we have seen so far in the events. We had also the Lift family, like Lift, Flight, Wado, a lot of eFoil brands have been at the event, but especially Lift was one of the main sponsors of the event as well, and even Nick Leeson, who is the founder and you could say the inventor of e-foiling, who built the first e-foil himself. He came from with his wife and his family from Puerto Rico for the Atlanta Foil Festival. He was joining the race as well. He was doing really well. You could see there's probably hardly anybody with as many hours on an e-foil in his life than him.
I can imagine.
So that has been, it's been awesome meeting a lot of foil frothing people that are just passionate about the sport and different aspects of foiling. Mm-hmm. And I think everybody's really looking forward to next year and just see that being bigger and better. We had 2 days basically of intense competitions. People came over from Europe to participate in the event.
Seriously?
Yeah. We had a couple of Europeans flying in for the event. We had obviously a lot of people from the US, Canada, Poland, Puerto Rico.
Whoa! Here, let's check out some of your Instagram stuff while you're reviewing that. Because this is what you were talking about, the 5K Enduro pump race.
Well, Betafoil was the sponsor of this competition, but obviously it's a competition format that really fits to the Betafoil product, because Betafoil is it's a product that really, I would say, has its strength in long distance pumping. You can see the wings that are used. They are huge. The wingspan is more than 2 meters, which gives obviously an amazing glide. They are not as fast as smaller foils, but you can, with slower pumps and longer glides, really efficiently do it for a long time. And Devon and who is here, Wake Thief, Devon, they are the inventors of the Betafoil, and they have been showcasing it. It was tested by a lot of people, I have to say. There was many people interested in giving it a go and having the chance to demo it and try it, the Betafoil. And even guys that are experienced in pumping, they have to get used to this massive foil.
I can imagine.
But once you get the hang of it, you can pump for hours, I think.
And then you also, let's check out your e-foiling, because I think you guys had a really nice reel here as well. An overview drone shot. This one, right? Yeah, just an overview of that. Yeah, beautiful venue. Obviously glassy this time compared to some of the other events that you had. Conditions were good. It wasn't too windy?
No, not at all. That's great, because in Lake Lanier, the whole lake is surrounded by forest, so you have quite a steep shoreline. Means and it's more or less river arms, you could say. So it's very wind protected. We never had any disturbing winds. I think the strongest gust we've seen was maybe 3-4 knots, no more than that.
Oh, whoa!
So most of the time it's glassy or 1-2 knots of wind. That doesn't really disturb any of the foiling competitions. Yeah, we had the e-foil a time trial first. So we had an enduro race. We had a long distance race, which was also a different format a bit to the short course racing, where it's not about just going full throttle. The race was around 8 miles long.
Whoa.
So you're not really, well, you can't really make it if you are going full throttle on your battery for the whole time, which means you need to play it smart and not kill your battery too fast, and have a medium to higher medium speed, and really know how much you can push your battery to make it all the way to the end. We had a few of competitors who didn't make it because the battery died before.
Oh, there you go.
And it was really interesting because even after 8 miles, the first and the second and third were maybe a couple of meters apart from each other, and that even after an 8 mile race. So
Whoa.
it's been pretty fun to see that, because most of the events and the formats we do, it's more a short course format where you have 2 people in the course, and the races are 1-2 minutes long. So they are technically with a lot of turns, and it's not so much about the battery or the high speed. It's really about the control you have. And we had good competitors on the e-foiling side. And obviously Justin Chait, who is the tour leader in the SFT, he was the man to beat, and he also won this time. But it wasn't the easy one for him. There were a few other people that have been pushing hard and have been giving him a hard time.
Yeah, Justin rips, eh? Like I remember meeting those guys in Pensacola. But,
yes, yeah.
Oh, there's Karen.
Yeah,
they're wearing full face helmets now, eh?
Yeah, Justin, he had a couple of bad wipeouts recently, and he decided now he goes full face helmet and body protection. And obviously, if you're pushing the sport to the limit, you can crash hard.
Oh yeah, you can.
Yeah, and his buddy Jacob was doing second place. So also from Florida, the Florida flight boys have been taking the first and second place. And we had, obviously strong riders like Brian Grubb, Nick Leeson, Colin Gwynn, all on lift. I've been chasing them. And we had a couple of local boys involved as well. Also Nick Leeson's wife, Morgan, was competing. And she just got a newborn, so she was actually busy with her baby most of the time, but she took a couple of spins on the course too. And also the weather has been good. It's really warm up here at the moment. The lake is 26 degrees Celsius, so you're riding in board shorts.
Yeah, that's nice.
And it's not cold at all. So that side of things, we had a very strong, I would say, a fleet of pump foilers too. Obviously, we had Eden, who is the tour leader, coming in from Switzerland for the competition. We, as well as Katrine, one of the girls, the women that compete on the tour on the other events as well, came flying in from Switzerland for this event. We had Ansley Pritchard, who was the best woman in Pensacola as well. Her specialty is wake foiling, but she's a good pump foiler too. And then also some of the good guys from the US, like Gage, Brady Hurley, the one who won the competition. He also won the FSRL in Cocoa Beach in March in the one versus one competition. Noah Flegel, he was competing only on the wake side and the 1v1, and then there was Gage Schönherr, who has been already in Pensacola and is one of the top foil riders here in the US. So a lot of strong people that came here, and I think it was really interesting to see that now in the US foiling is really taking off, I think, and it's really, but there are not that many events yet. So after Pensacola, which was obviously a mixed event in Pensacola because the foiling week was not only about board sports, there was the main focus was on sailing, but here the Atlanta Foil Festival was all about board sports, in all different kind of forms. Not surf foiling because we didn't have waves, but anything else, we had Mark from New Zealand who came over with the foil bike. I don't know if some people saw that already.
No, I haven't seen that.
Mark is an ex-professional BMX rider, and now he built a BMX on hydrofoils.
So it's called a foil bike?
It's called maybe, I don't know actually what's the product name. I think it's a custom construction, but I've seen it on a few other events. We had it in Düsseldorf in Germany as well. So you pump on it like on a bike. You don't have pedals. You don't need to spin anything. You really go like this, but you can use your arms as well to push the foil. You can put any foil on it on the center.
So it's not like this Manta 5 then, where you actually bike up and you actually have pedals and stuff.
No. You really pump with it.
How do you see these events kind of growing? Because people are flying in, so they're spending good money to come out and hang out for a weekend and compete and play and that kind of thing. How do you see these events growing over the course of, let's say, the next 3-4 years in the US and maybe even Canada?
Oh yeah, I definitely see them growing, and I think that the Atlanta Foil Fest was a great start to probably other locations that can host these kind of events as well. And I mean, there was also some decent prize money on the table. I think in total we had
like $16,000
US dollars that were paid out over different disciplines. So that attracts a lot of pros as well to come in. And I think it's at the moment, I think it's super important to have this event just to connect the community and everybody who has been at the event. For them, it's less about the money, but it's a lot about meeting up with other foil enthusiasts and sharing ideas. And there's still so much happening and just riding together and learning from each other as well. On the technical side, testing different gear and trying to bring more people into the sport. And obviously, this really depends on where you are doing events. I hope we're going to see more events in the future. And I'm not talking only about the US. I mean this in general, to really bring events closer to cities where you have more people and you have more people that are not into these sports yet, but can get infected and interested in foiling, as well as the core community events like. Where really the athletes come in and compete with each other, and it's more for the real foil enthusiasts. But I think there is a lot of different concepts, and I see the tour having all kind of different events, from big festivals where the majority of people are probably not foilers, but they might be in the future, and because they see something. It was funny because there was, a couple of people obviously that were just coming in from the region. They are not foiling yet, and it was interesting. I was listening to a couple of them, and they, some of them were volunteers helping, and they haven't seen this before. We're like, oh, this looks like walking on water. It looks so unreal. How can this work, that people just move above the water just with the power of their legs, pumping a hydrofoil or using an e-foil with a propulsion system, obviously, that's electric, and just fly above water. It looks like Jesus moving along, and
pretty much.
And it's true. I think for a lot of people, it's still something they they don't really believe to be real, but it is.
That's true. And you also had some clinics and some demos there. So you obviously had Lift, looks like you had Cabrina, Barrett's boards, Kid Wakefoil clinics with Caden Cowell, and then Betafoil's free demo clinics. So how did that aspect kind of tie in? Because you're maybe grabbing a bit of a different part of the community that way.
Yeah, the demos were doing great, I think. There were e-foil demos. There was a Betafoil, which is obviously something not for people to get into the sport. Betafoil demo is for people that can foil already and want to try something a bit more special. There was, in a way, I think to get people into foiling quick, probably e-foil is one of the easiest ways to do it, or behind a boat. Just towing people like on a wakeboard and just helping them to understand how to fly with a hydrofoil. Or e-foils, especially, I mean, some of the products on the e-foil market that are out now that are really beginner friendly are probably the easiest entry into flying above water. I mean, these e-foils are not cheap, so it's not that everybody can afford it, but if you have access to it, it's probably one of the easiest ways to get flying and understand how a foil is working. So yeah, e-foil, the e-foil demos have been pretty popular. Then obviously testing equipment. We had a great dock that was custom built for the event, the start dock with slots that Jason, the organizer.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that on Instagram. That was pretty cool.
Built. Yeah, we just got delivered it the day before the event, and it's a dock where you can start multiple people next to each other for the competition. But it's also a great dock just to practice and for demo and try equipment.
Here, we're going to watch you quickly here. So you guys had these custom built slots in here that you would just pop up.
Exactly. So you could take out these slots and just slide your mast in there. Yeah.
Oh, cool. And that was long enough. That's all they needed.
Do it a bit longer, it's even better, because you can make a couple more steps to get more speed, but then the whole construction would be less stable.
Okay.
So you need to find a compromise, I would say. There are people, this is a discussion we have with the foilers and all the pump competitions, because everybody in the pumping world has a home dock or a spot wherever he does it, and they're all different. Some people are used to be on a dock where they can run for 10 meters, really get a lot of speed to jump on the board. Other people are used to just jump in from a rock with no steps at all. And then some people are used to low docks because they have short masts and they are starting from maybe 10 or 20 centimeters above the water. And then you have people that are used to start from high docks, so that need to be 60, 70 centimeters high. So in the end, when you build a dock, you will never make everybody happy, or happy in a way that it's similar to what they are used to. And I think that the athletes need to adapt and be ready to dock start from anything. And we're going to have, we also had, here we had this dock, we had in Sicily a smaller dock on the last event. We had in Leucate, we were using start ladders that were custom built, because you have a really shallow sloping beach. You cannot attach any dock there, and it was waves. So we had a ladder, and you needed to start from a ladder. So every spot is a bit different, and I've been trying to figure out, okay, with the majority of our athletes, what do you consider is the ideal starting technique and starting platform? And everybody will tell you a different opinion about it. So,
welcome to the world of event management.
Yeah. But we figured out, I think, like a good average height is like 40 to 50 centimeters above the water. What is important, that dock is obviously not too deep underwater, so you can guide your foil and not touch on the bottom of the dock. Most people are using their 75, 80 centimeter masts. There's hardly anybody with really short masts and hardly anybody with really long masts. I think everybody's around this size. But it depends. It depends on the dog which front wings you might use, because if you have a couple more meters to run into the start better, you can use a smaller front wing because you can already start with more speed, and this is faster.
True.
When you have to jump in from a rock, you might need a quite big foil with a low stalling speed. So you can pump it up more or less from zero speed into, and then accelerate and get it pumping. So the starter has definitely been challenging, but it is always, and those people who are not used to it, they really spend a fair amount of time to train before. And we had on the pump foil competition, we did time trials on the first day, so everybody was alone in the course. And then we had a dual race with 2 people head-to-head against each other in a best-of-3 format. So if you lose once, you can still, have a second and third chance to beat the other one twice and go into the next round. And yeah, it's been a few really tough and close battles, I have to say. There was a couple of races where it was just a matter of 1-2 meters at the finish line between the first and the second. The races were obviously not as long as on the e-foil course. So it is doable. And it's been a couple of close decisions, but it's been quite fun to see everybody improving. And also on the pump foil, the level was really high. I mean, there was nearly nobody, I would say, who wasn't able to complete the course.
As this one wraps up, you guys are heading to Lake Garda next. So June 26th to 29th. That's another foiling week, right?
Exactly. Now this is the original foiling week where we are heading to. So after Pensacola, which was a foiling week happening for the first time, we're going now to Lake Garda, which is the birthplace of the foiling week. It exists already for 10 years or even more, the event in Malcesine. It started as a sailing foiling event, and now also including board sports since last year. We're going to run a pump foil event, an e-foil event, and also downwind if the conditions allow. So if Lake Garda is quite a special place. I mean, it's great because it is right in the center, I would say, of Europe. So we're not on the sea. It's in the center of Europe, which is very close to South Germany, to Switzerland, to Austria, obviously north of Italy, and even France. Everything is just within a few hours. So everybody can get there pretty easy. And there are a lot of foilers in that area, I would say, pump foilers around that Central European region. And the lake is pretty known for water sports for many, many years. Lake Garda is one of the Central European hotspots for windsurfing. Was it in the 80s, 90s? Kiting, wing foiling now, as well as getting very big there, sailing, because it's a thermal wind conditions there. You see you have very steep mountains on both sides of the lake. Mm-hmm. So in the morning, when the mountains cool down through the night, you have a wind that starts blowing in the night, and then through the morning hours until 9-10 o'clock, then it dies off. Then you have most of the days glassy conditions for 1-2 hours, and then the mountains heat up and the wind turns around 180 degrees and comes from the other side and blows the afternoon then from the other side.
Oh, no way.
And sometimes the wind switches within minutes, and you see people riding with wind from the north, and then already people on south wind just a little bit down the lake, and you see the wind line coming up. It's a pretty unique place. The wind is never really strong, and that's why I said we do the downwind. We were considering if we should run downwind as an official discipline, but as the conditions are not guaranteed, because you need to have the right thermals that only blow for a few hours, it doesn't really produce that much wind chop, although the lake is deep. But on the right days, you can have decent downwind conditions in the morning hours. And we are planning to run a downwind event if the conditions allow it as a show discipline. We have e-foil and pump foil there, and then obviously there will be any other sorts of sailboats on foils will be involved. There will be a foiling sports congress where many people from the industry, and I mean not only the board sport industry, but
sailing as well.
Be it sailing, be it motorized foiling, gonna be speaking, and we're gonna represent obviously the board sport division in this forum, in this congress. So we are looking forward, and I hope also if people hear that and are excited to get there will be a couple brands also with demo equipment. Make your way to Lake Garda next week.
So that, once again, that's June 26th to June 29th. You do have some prize money, and then you're looking at pump, e-foil, and then potentially an SUP downwind, which would be pretty fun. Yeah.
Well, on the downwind, we will allow anything. It's going to be obviously different divisions, but it's not only going to be SUP. We're going to have people on pocket wings. We're going to have people on foil assist, probably.
Nice. All right.
That's all I wanted to say.
All right, it's almost midnight where you are, so we should probably wrap this puppy up. But hey, thanks for coming on and highlighting that Atlanta Fest. It's too bad we couldn't make it, but we are looking forward to attending some other ones in the future. And at least it's warm, right? It's not wetsuit weather, so that's always a plus.
No, that's always a plus, definitely. Yeah, no, it's great. As I said, we are looking now before the summer, one more event in Lake Garda, and then we'll have a break of 2 months with the SFT. We're going to have a couple of wingfoil events. By the way, this week there is the US Nationals in San Francisco, the Wingding event, which is also a GWA qualifier event. I'm going to be there for this week, having a look at this event. And supporting the event to see this grow in the future, hopefully being an international event too. And then we have also wing foiling in Tarifa, in the Youth World Championship in Costa Brava in the beginning of July, and then 2 World Cups in the Canary Islands in Fuerteventura and Gran Canaria in July, August. And then with the SFT, we'll be back in September again.
There you go. I don't know how you don't get down on wrong plane sometimes like I did in Bonaire. I don't know if I told you that story. Or not. But anyways, you got a lot of traveling coming. And then you got what? You got a pump and e-foil in Portugal. And then you have Abu Dhabi in October.
Yeah. So Abu Dhabi is probably going to be our biggest event, in the way we were looking forward to this on quality that we are trying to look for. Is going to be the biggest prize purse. We're going to have a high quality live stream production at this event, so it's going to be one of the first SFT events. We did Cape Verde, where we're going to do a proper live stream production, and really, people who are interested can follow this event and on the stream as well with e-foil and wake foiling.
Oh, fun. Sweet.
So we're looking forward to that too.
All right, my friend, get some rest, enjoy are you staying around in Atlanta for a few days, or what's your game plan?
Yeah, I just been here a day after the event, wrapping up things, getting on the water myself, a little wake foil sesh. And then, tomorrow heading to San Francisco for the Wingfoil US Nationals.
Did I also see some pretty good windsurfing from you on your Instagram not that long ago? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I've been out a bit windsurfing as well without foils when I was back home before heading to the US.
This thing, eh?
Yeah, that's the home break. Good old windsurfing.
It's so fun, man. Yeah, I kind of got caught up on that this afternoon. It was like 3.5, blasting up to 30, and I was at uppers, and it was like, I think I'm supposed to be somewhere. It's like, oh, fuck. Oh, shit. Anyways, thanks for your patience, but thanks for coming on again. It was nice to see you. looking forward to catching up in the next event. And if anybody wants to follow you guys, obviously you have Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So what are for the SFT, what are your, what's the word I'm looking for? Handles.
Our handles?
Surfoil World Tour.
Yeah, Surfoil World Tour. Surfoil World Tour on Instagram and Facebook, everywhere. Surfoil World Tour. And that's where you can follow us. You can find information. We have also the website. Obviously, we're trying, to feed there as much content as we can. And we got a lot of, we're collecting a lot of good footage now throughout the first season. And I think on the media side, obviously, there's always room to improve. And we are still at the beginning. But that's why I wanted to announce already. I think, if we have events coming up in Abu Dhabi, that on the media side going to be pretty decent.
That'll be exciting to watch.
And hopefully we see enough people tuning in to watch that.
That'd be cool. All right, Tom, get some rest. It was nice to see you. And we'll chat soon.
See you soon.
All right, bye everybody.